Yes, now we're live. All right. So, good afternoon. My name is Caroline Henry. And today, to start off this new series in the new year, Happy New Year, of Substack Lives, to talk about different ways of looking at champagne. I will be talking with my really good friend, Onneca Guelbenzu. We've known each other for a long time. We've traveled together. We've picked grapes together in Champagne. We've done tastings together. And Onneca is an educator, so we will talk about the importance of education. So I'm going to ask One, tell the people how we met and how we got into bubbles. How you got into bubbles, and then I was in bubbles, and how we became the bubbly duo in a way.
I think we were already very bubbly, our personalities, and we were already in love with any kind of bubbles. And where we met, it was in the wine bloggers conference.
Yes.
Or it was in the with the wing
in Vienna.
It was in Vienna. The wine bloggers conference. It sounds very oldie, like MySpace, but
it was very old. It was 2010 on it.
Yesterday. But yes, we met there, and we were the new big thing in the wine marketing and community, the new prescriptors online.
Yeah.
So we all had no idea of what we were doing, but we met together and had great parties.
Yeah.
And exchanged ideas.
And so you already did videos, because I was kind of writing more, but you did videos. I was at that time. I was writing on Champagne already, actually. It was before I was here, but I was writing marketing mainly, because obviously that was my business development. Marketing was my background. So one day, sitting on the swing, we decided that we were going to do different things together. So what are all the things that we did together, Oni?
We did a lot, because I remember 2010 was the year I started my wine blog, Wine Defender, with my father, who is a winemaker, now retired. And we posted, we both, our both blogs to make a video hanging in the vines.
Oh, yes.
Asking our friends to buy us digital drinks, so they could sponsor our trip to Napa Valley, California.
Yes, and we did go to Napa Valley.
We had no jobs, no boyfriends. We were completely in a.
We were having so much fun, and do you remember we visited? We visited a lot of different places, but we visited. What are they called again? The sparkling wine.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I was actually really, for me, it was the first time that I saw like a sparkling wine operation, a big sparkling wine operation, because I'd seen small ones in New Zealand, but a big Schramsberg. We went to Schramsberg, but it was the first time I saw a big sparkling wine operation outside of Champagne, and I was surprised at how similar it was to Champagne.
It's just,
but you, Annie, you used to work in Cava. Well,
yeah, I
guess
I was the communication manager for Gramona, now Cortinat. So I was very lucky to discover the wonders of San Sadurní d'Anoia with a great house, as amazing as our friends Recaredo, Gramona, Recaredo are the top range.
Yeah, and so after that trip, I think the two of us decided that we would do tastings together.
Yeah.
So our tastings with a twist.
Tasting with a twist.
In your bar, in your
the
wine
name
bar.
Is still I had a wine bar in the center of Geneva for a while.
It was so much fun. So we got these actually amazing people when when you think about it.
Llamus in Terrorific with us, explaining the magic of the
Cain Todd,
philosopher, the philosophy of wine.
The philosophy of wine. I really loved the dancer. I can't remember his name. We were in Brussels, and that makeup artist, because I looked at some pictures. So what we did was we took sparkling wine. So we took
Mm.
champagne, we took some Gramona or some Recarero or both,
Okay.
and then we took other sparkling wines from
Mm.
different places, and we added a different layer to try and engage people.
Mm.
So, for instance, we added philosophy with Kane, who wrote a book on philosophy and wine.
Mm.
We talked about, we heard it in the grapevine about grape DNA and how grapes had changed with José Vuillamos
Mm.
and how that impacted sparkling wine.
Mm.
Um, the dancer and the makeup
The dancer,
artist.
you know what? I didn't told you, but I've been a lot of times I've been with Pedro Ballesteros,
Yes,
Master of Wine. He was in that tasting
he was
in
there in that
he
apartment.
was there in the apartment. He was one of the selected, and he told me still he was remembering you and me and the dancer putting out the
With the
foam of the
bubbles,
statue.
yes. It
It
was,
was the best tasting of my life.
well, I think as we're talking about education, because,
Mm.
I've written quite a bit lately about the dire state of the champagne
Mm.
industry. It's not necessarily that I like to talk about these things, but I believe that to improve, you need to know where you are. You cannot go from point A to point B if you
Mm.
don't know where point A is.
Mm.
But I do believe that part of the reason is when we were doing the tastings, we really believed that sparkling wine and obviously champagne also was very cool. And because we believed this and
Mm.
because we thought about it in a different way, we conveyed that message. We said, hey, it's not just fun, it's not just for
Mm.
celebrations, it is something that could be an experience. You can hang out with your friends and do a crazy tasting like we do.
Mm.
And that can be, something you do. It doesn't have to be something very specific.
Exactly.
And I think that, basically that champagne could do with that. Now, you've been, I stayed on the writing scene.
Mm.
I left, I'm still kind of blogging on this thing, I guess, but I write mainly, or I write a lot for Wine Search, although I'm
Mm.
trying to write more here now. And I've written for different magazines in
Mm.
the past. But you really focused on wine education.
Yeah.
So I have enough for
Mm.
English students. That's more than enough. So tell me, what
Mm.
what do you see when you teach those people, and what is their impression of sparkling wine and champagne?
I think for everyone in my classes is like champagne is still and it will be
Hmm.
the best quality bubbles, the more fine quality bubbles, but also it's more like the not everybody can afford it in a way. So there's more happening. It's all a pet nut boom, and everybody making different bubbles in different ways. And then cava is also, and corpinat is also with incredible quality and doing a lot to to see to show how they are working the land
Yeah.
for real.
So do you think it's important to show how we work the land?
I think for a lot of people, yes. I think for a lot of people, it's important the world and how we all connect with everything, how everything is done. Before we didn't care, but now, yes, I'm frozen.
Yeah, I know. Because obviously, that's okay. Champagne is struggling in this department a little bit. It's been straggling for a long time. It set great goals. It should have eradicated herbicides by 2025, but it didn't. And
Yeah.
obviously now a lot of people want to cut costs. They don't want to really invest in things. But at the same time, Cava is going organic by 2030. You're saying it's important. And
Mm.
I noticed that Prosecco is talking a lot about it. Now, I don't know Prosecco very well.
Mm.
The appellation, I live here, I don't know that much about it. But I
Mm.
do know that a lot of people think that it's cool. What did you notice when you were teaching? Did you teach, Prosecco as well, or?
Yeah, we've been also with all the sparklings, all the methods. I think they, it's already confusing how all the sparklings are made still.
Yes.
So it's a lot to explain about all the way of making the second fermentation and when
Mhm.
stopping it. And also Prosecco changed their own law for introducing the Prosecco Rosé
Yeah.
recently. So it's a lot of demand of new bubbles. But for the students, that was the question. No? For them, what is more important? I think they want to understand how it's made, where it comes from, what are the values of people making it, and also what is the ratio quality, price, and pleasure.
Okay. So they
Mm.
want the story of the winemaker.
Oh, yeah.
Storytelling, important, thank God. Then they want to know how people work in the vineyard, and they want to
Mm,
know how the
mm.
wine is made. But in their mind, do they really make a difference, even if they know that one is made in tank and the other one is made in bottle, or the one is made ancestral like Pet Nat and
Mm.
champagne traditionnel? But do they really, is it really a big difference to them, or is it just they're just curious, and then once they
Just
know,
curious.
then they just go, oh, they're just curious. Okay.
Yeah, just curious. Yeah, to understand also the different the different taste and textures when you taste a style, how to
Yeah.
differentiate it blind more
Yeah,
like
no, I see.
train.
Yeah. So yeah, so they are very interested in it. What about visiting the region? Are they
Mm.
interested? Have you taken students to different wine regions? Obviously,
We
Champagne is investing in wine tourism, and
mm,
wine education could be part of wine tourism. So,
I think the Cava Academy is
mhm.
investing a lot. I
Okay,
think everybody is investing a lot now. This academy it's like we all the students have, and I think even me at some point, kind of diplomatitis or
okay,
for certificatosis. I don't know, like we want
yes.
certification,
Oh yeah,
certification.
so it's like the Champagne Academy, but the Champagne Academy is something you do online. Is Cava as
Yeah,
well?
exactly.
Okay,
You can
so
do
it's
online
something.
a lot, and then they can bring people
Okay,
for
so
a
they
level more high.
okay, so they do bring people. Like I know that there's 3 or 4 levels for the Champagne Academy. I didn't do it, so I
Mm.
don't know. Um, I
You don't need to.
well, I did a long time ago. I did the wine origin one,
Mm,
where with Champagne and Porto and everything,
mm,
and I thought it was interesting, and I can see how these things are interesting. What worries me is when you bring people, okay?
mm,
My love of the barren land that they have here. So,
mm,
I really don't like herbicides and any of these things.
mm,
But the problem is you see it. And obviously I live in the most tourist
mm.
village, as you
Oh,
visited, of
really?
Champagne, and so we see it. So there is spring has a lot of tourists, and they see and they talk about it. It's not just
Mm,
that they don't talk about it. Obviously, if they do other sparkling wine
mm.
um, tastings and visits, they may see the difference. You know, I think Cava going organic. I think it's because you know they have no water.
Mm.
I think it's a necessity for survival more than anything else.
Exactly. For some people, it's easier than for others.
Obviously,
Like for
obviously they
Ligo
don't
in
have
organic, not
they don't have the
happen.
two mildews here.
It can
Okay.
happen in some places with a lot of work, but it's not for everybody. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, a whole appellation going, or aiming to go
Mm.
organic, and you have the Champagne appellation with 8% organic.
Yes, a
There's a
long way to
big
go.
there's a long way to go, and I'm like thinking, how much time do you have? Maybe you can shed
Mm,
some light on this because you work for Gramona and then they went organic and biodynamic and they have long aging wine, which a
mm,
lot of people in Champagne have as well.
mm.
So, how did that transition go before everything gets there? Because it takes a long time, I guess.
They were always into it in a way or another. They've been the
Mhm.
method for a really long time. They used to putting it in the label. It's It's
Okay,
not
so
from one day
they
to the other.
were already they
They
were
were already, so they just keep on. And
okay. And what do you think, for instance, the Corpinat appellation, which
mm,
was a breakaway of the best people in the Cava
yeah,
appellation,
yeah,
and it's growing because every year they add a few people.
totally.
Uh, so what do you think that obviously in Champagne we cannot do this because you can
Mm,
only make champagne in Champagne. You can't even make
mm,
table wine. But sometimes I think that if there wasn't Corpinat, maybe Cava wouldn't have pushed to go organic because they first pushed
yeah,
Gran Reserva and then they or
it's true. It's true. I think so too. It's our opinion, but I think yes, it's like they are taking the bandera, le drapeau,
Mhm.
the flag to the first ones, and then the rest following. But
Okay, all right.
mhm,
And but obviously they have a supply shortage in Cava last year.
mm,
They had to curb the sales,
mhm,
which is something I think Champagne would dream of, curbing the sales. So that means that they can only take part of that of the market. And with the weather, I don't think unless they significantly extend the
mhm.
appellation, I don't think that they can grow enormously. Um,
And
but but
we had sorry, I to interrupt. I had an interview with Ana Lopez, the export manager from Gramonas. She's a really good friend also,
yeah,
ex-work colleague. And I remember they had 1 year without Imperial because of that, and they couldn't put it out in the market, so they had to to take the old vintage and almost double the price. Like they lost some listings, but they keep the supply for
they
so
kept the supply going. Okay.
going difficult times here.
Yeah, because if you have no, because that is the system. The system Champagne has is
Mm,
consistent supply.
mm,
To quote Charles Goumard, the
mm,
director general of the
mm,
CIVC, he said Champagne should always be available.
mm.
Um,
And fresh and fresh.
as the first thing, okay, always be available,
Mm,
and then desirable afterwards. Now they're starting to see that maybe desirable is more important than available.
mm,
um, but I've spoken to economists, for instance, that have said that
mm,
it's in a way market manipulation. And we see, for instance, cover prices, because there literally was a shortage,
mm,
have gone up quite a bit.
mm,
But it doesn't seem to hamper the sales. While champagne prices went up
mm,
quite a bit, 30%, I think, since COVID.
mm,
And, it seems to be like a real handbrake for the sales.
mm,
Um, if I was in your class and I would ask you this question, I would say, how can I, as a young sommelier or
mm,
as a person working in a wine
mm,
store,
mm.
uh, overcome this and try and sell more champagne? What would you, what advice would you give me?
Would say not only having the technical sheet of the champagne, but the kind of tasting and drinking with awareness, like doing your own research in some places like good substacks like your one, or not not in some other places that you can see that's all copy and paste without soul. Like
Hmm.
not everybody that talks about champagne knows what they are talking about. Not everybody, but they are incredible experts, uh, looking looking for good sources and drinking with
Okay.
awareness. Hmm?
Yeah, but for instance, if you're looking for sources, you mentioned my Substack, thank you very much, but I very rarely write about specific producers.
Yeah,
I may do a bit more actually, but I wrote a book
yeah.
on good producers, but on producers basically that produced without herbicides.
Mhm.
So
Then we go out about the other what we were talking before about visiting the region and get
visiting
your feet in the ground.
Okay, so obviously, Champagne is investing in wine tourism. I know quite a few people, but most of the wine tourism is even the smaller groups, the
Mm,
people here. So you go with somebody local,
mm,
and you visit three people. It's always the same. You come to Ovile, obviously.
yeah.
It's a day trip. It's always the same. Do you think that that is enough for a product as amazing as champagne? To me personally, it
Mm,
reminds me of the Napa train. Okay, when
it's
you go on the
like the
Napa train,
Codorníu train. I was thinking the same.
you were there, yeah. So I'm thinking our time, for instance, in Napa, and the other times I spent there.
Mm,
It was very different. Obviously,
mm,
being a writer, Wine Searcher does open doors. So
mm,
I managed to visit amazing producers. And, even you and I,
mm,
when we were nobodies, we visited
mm,
amazing producers. Um, but it wasn't exactly that. And I think that people want something unique. That is what I believe that maybe they should invest in here.
mm.
I've been thinking of maybe doing it, but I'm not sure. I'm still not sure.
I think we're thinking of people like you and me. That wouldn't be just that wouldn't be enough. But for a lot of people, that makes a really good souvenir. They come back home and they are gonna be buying champagne and drinking champagne. So it's a win.
Okay, maybe,
I
yes.
think. Hmm,
Yeah, no, that's a good point. If they come, it's true that if you have a story, I remember the
mm,
first blog post actually I ever wrote a
mm,
long, long time ago on Nuss and Wine. I don't even think it's still online anymore. It was before I moved aside.
mm,
Um, it was on Champagne Milan in
mm,
Auger,
mm,
because at Harvest they got customers to come to pick, and then they paid for the experience. So they
mhm.
were very clever. You and me, we
Very, very
know.
clever. We're talking about harvest. That remind me of our harvest in
Oh yes,
champagne.
we know. We know. I would not pay to do that harvest. Getting paid was a different story. But so they would pay to do, to pick for a little bit, and then they would have like a big cochelet, like a big meal, and an experience, and then obviously because they had that story,
Mm,
when they wanted to celebrate something or when they wanted to do something, they would always buy that champagne because
exactly.
they had a personal link to that. And I think I wrote that in 2009 or 2010,
Mm,
that story, so a long time ago. So
mm,
obviously these people were doing that already
mm,
at that
exactly.
time. But maybe that's something that people need to look in is an experience, because
Yeah.
even though if it's the same thing, I think they still need to somehow
Mm,
feel special.
yeah. Feel
That's
part of the community or of the champagne house for a grower for a bit.
And speaking of a community, remember when, we started our
The
things,
wine
remember we
lovers
also
community.
were at the beginning of the Wine Lover community. Remember we went to
I remember.
Switzerland. Good God.
We were doing live streaming from in Italy, from
Yes, we
Umbria,
did.
from the
With
Umbria.
Luis and Andre, there was only four of us, imagine. Oh my God.
Yes.
And that community went absolutely crazy. Do you think this is possible to do something like that for Champagne as well, if people would be interested?
I think we
Or have
don't know.
times changed? Because
We
obviously, if you're
don't know
talking
because
about
now is
something,
everybody is going crazy online.
yeah,
So
but at that time there was like no TikTok, no Instagram, no,
mm,
maybe just Insta, but it was, we were doing this on Facebook, if I remember, or
yeah,
Twitter.
Instagram
I
was the
can't
beginning.
remember. So, because it's a long time ago. It's 11, 12 years ago that
Mm,
we did this.
yeah,
So, obviously things changed a little bit, but maybe people are still interested. I don't know.
I think it's changing all the time with technology. But what is the spam of attention of people receiving the message? That's another story.
Yes, attention span is always difficult.
Yeah.
Um, but although, obviously I don't teach in wine, but I do teach. I've been teaching for 14 years
Mm,
English. Um, and, normally they can keep their attention for an hour and a half at some
mm.
point. You do need to give them a few breaks.
You need to give a lot of energy to keep the attention.
Yes. Yes, yeah. No. I think it's true what you say is I think in education, I think
Mm.
if we come back to it, because if I look at the time that we don't,
Yeah,
explode
yeah,
the attention span from our
yes.
people here, I think that yes, a lot of energy, uniqueness. I think
Mm.
things we did a long time ago.
Mm.
I'm not sure, I always think it's crazy to revisit things you did a long time ago. I think it's fun for a while, but it will never be the same because, we change. We
Yeah,
aren't the same people anymore that did those crazy things.
we are kind of the same, but a little bit more kind.
No, we are. We are not only, but,
Mm.
I'm not sure if we would,
That's
probably,
that's the
yes.
thing. The rock and roll days of champagne and wine are a way for a lot of people, but I'm sure that it's gonna come back like a boomerang.
Okay. All right. So we have a comment here.
Yeah.
Becky Epstein. Thank you, Becky, for being here. Says that online feels twice as long as in person, so we better not keep it too long here. Um,
Mm.
but I guess it's true. Things go faster when we are face to face.
Mhm.
But I think sometimes online as well, because we spend a lot of time online. So
Mm.
to to conclude, basically education remains important.
The more educated people is, the more enjoyment when they are buying and drinking. So I think it's super super
Okay.
important.
And in that education, do we need to add fun elements to
Always.
create enjoyment? Like, in English we have funny learning. Do we need to do funny champagne learning as well?
Yes, yes, and interactive, and yeah, making everybody part of the of the class. Yeah.
Okay, and so basically making sure that when people leave, that
Mm.
they are ambassadors and that they have a unique experience like Pedro Ballesteros had when he came to our
Exactly.
tasting. I don't know how long ago in Brussels.
And that they have learned something or experienced something that they
It's
will keep dearly.
it's for me, it's especially interesting that it's Pedro Ballesteros because he is a master of wine, and we were
They were saying the best. They said
crazy and
no
those
one was doing tasting. No one is still doing tasting like this.
No,
Yeah,
nobody's doing tasting like this. Maybe we should. Okay.
yeah,
Okay, Becky says we need to do tastings with prizes and certificates. Well, maybe yes. That would be
yeah.
a great thing if we do this well. Sometimes the CIVC watches things that I do or reads things that I do. Hopefully they watch and they take note and they spice up their education. And obviously everybody else that does things here, I will speak
Mm,
to my neighbors that do wine tourism and different things. Like
mm.
I have done a few tourist groups. People ask me, I'm thinking of doing some, but just very very
Selective.
small groups,
Mm,
because I know, that you learn easier in small groups and,
mm.
I only really want to do the organic and, the biodynamic and the regenerative, the things I stand for.
Yeah.
Um, which, I think it's always difficult. I remember a long time ago when I was doing the Champagne ambassador thing that they told me that if you want to represent Champagne, you need to represent everybody. And I don't think I can. So, that is
So,
just
so tell.
you're not either. Here's the thing is, I can't I
No.
know that I do still believe that the some of the best sparkling wine is made here.
Mm,
But, there's also some of the most average wine made here. And I don't really want to put everybody under the
mm.
you know, same umbrella. Anyway, One, it was really
Yeah.
funny.
In Spanish, short,
Short, thank you so much. What's your final message to champagne lovers that may see this video?
taste less, drink more. Your
No,
life
especially
will be better.
buy more. We need to sell more.
Drink more. Experience filter
So no
champagne.
dry January for you, One.
No, but I mean, when it's really good quality, you feel great during and after. That's the thing. And with
Okay.
age, it's very important to have good good quality in your body.
Okay. Yeah, I like that good quality, like that old vintage Jackson when we were picking
Son,
grapes.
ouais, 0,2.
Oh, it was very good.
Oui, et dans les pressoirs, in the press, what happens in the press?
Stays in the press.
Big party.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for watching.
Yes.
I will see you this weekend again at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. European Time to talk about the 2025 vintage with Brad Baker. For now, thank you. And thank you so much, One, for doing
Thank
this with
you,
me.
Caro. And
Bye. Love you.
Cava information, can send me an email.
That's
You
it.
can.
Cava information or any other wine
Yeah.
information, because you are a
Oh,
wine.
yeah.
Tell me, you're
Chocolate
doing
expert.
before we
I'm
go. Quickly
a sommelier.
tell people about the wine you want to write about. You told me, I forgot.
Chocolate Basque wine. Fantastic. Yeah.
Okay.
A book on the making.
All right. That's great. Can't wait. See you soon. Bye-bye.
I love you.
Bye. Love you.